Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.
Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland. Oh boy, let's do this.
Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
Switch on and switch off. Oh, sorry. I'll go back to my hole.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
I approve this message.
I really don't see Apple ever doing that.
I am Madonna. Well, I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing. Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I'm here with Landen.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Hello.
And we are here to talk all things tech, you guys, for this week and last.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're on top of this one. But first, we got to talk Star Wars, because that's a thing.
Yeah.
We have to.
Okay, first off, Caleb, go.
Well, okay, we all saw the trailer that
Yes.
okay, this is what we're talking about, just make sure people know.
Yes.
We're talking about the new teaser trailer that's come out, and the name. I thought was interesting.
I mean, that's something that's curious to me. The Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, the new episode is called Rise of Skywalker. So, interesting, I thought. But I want to hear Caleb's side, so we're going to let him take it over for just a minute.
I
Let's
hate
hear
it. I hate it all. Burn it all down. No.
No,
Why did we
explain.
invite him? No.
Yeah, well, okay, no. So you got to remember. Let's see where we all. Okay, let's remember where we all come from. I hated the last one.
Yeah.
Hated it, but you two really liked it.
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting, and I'll tell you my thoughts later. This is where we're at.
So I loved The Last Jedi. And while I recognize that it's not the best written Star Wars movie out of the batch, like by any stretch of the imagination, Rogue One is a better written movie. The Empire Strikes Back is still the best Star Wars movie that has ever been made. I don't care what anybody says. But I really like The Last Jedi because they took a lot of the Star Wars tropes and the stuff that we were expecting to happen and kind of twisted it just a little bit. Not enough to make it feel like it wasn't a part of the Star Wars universe, but just enough to kind of make me go, oh, this is new. And I like that. It felt fresh. It felt new in a way that The Force Awakens did not. The Force Awakens was Star Wars Episode 4 again. That's what it was. And so I liked The Last Jedi. And in particular, one of the things I really liked about it was the moment where Kylo Ren tells Rey that she's nobody. Like, haven't you figured it out by now? You're nobody. And it basically was just like, she's not a Skywalker. She's apparently not even related to Obi-Wan. She's just some random person who happens to be very talented with the Force and happened to be in the right place at the right time. And I kind of love the suggestion that makes, that anybody can be the hero. Like, you don't have to be a Skywalker. You don't have to be the chosen one in order to be the hero of something like this. It can be anybody. And that's who Rey was. She was this super accessible character who was a nobody who just happened to be in the right place at the right time and was willing to put in the effort that she needed to in order to be this legendary, awesome hero. And I was like, awesome. I love that takeaway from The Last Jedi.
There was no effort.
And
sorry, I had to interrupt.
What? Who ever put in effort in the Skywalker family? Like
Luke. Luke.
What did Luke do? He carried around Yoda on his back for 3 days, and that's I'm sorry, but Rey just following Luke around on that island was as much effort put into training as Luke put into training with Yoda.
I haven't now. By all means, I have not read the book or played the game that gave you more backstory of what happened to Luke. Because I did read some of the, I guess we call it Star Wars Legends now. That was all the books, but now they're not a part of the story. And so, to me, I still go to that, but I haven't read the new stuff yet. So by all means, so there may be a little bit more in there that we aren't talking about. But anyway,
it's just what's on screen. She's naturally gifted with the Force. She picks it up as fast as Luke did in Empire Strikes Back, and then she goes on and actually manages to be better than Luke simply because she's not as full of herself as Luke was. In The Empire Strikes Back, it's Luke's pride that is his downfall, not necessarily a lack of skill or his inability or his lack of training or anything. It's his pride. And Rey doesn't have that. Rey doesn't have that pride because she's not descended from the greatest Jedi / Sith ever or anything like that. She doesn't have prophecies of "you're the chosen one" the way that Anakin did floating around. And so, like, I just really liked the way they handled her character in The Last Jedi. In The Last Jedi. That was very well done. And then literally the first thing that I hear about the new movie is that it's called The Rise of Skywalker. And yes, I recognize that title could mean a number of different things and could even have something to do with Luke himself. Because based on the trailer, Luke is going to be a part of this. So, like, I'm not necessarily saying 100% that, yeah, this is them saying, oh yeah, Rey's totally a Skywalker, but it really seems like there's a very high probability that they have decided, no, Rey's a Skywalker, and I am frustrated if that turns out to be true.
I don't think it has so much to do with Rey as much as it potentially has to do with either Luke or Kylo.
I felt that, but can I add to that real fast? When I saw it, I didn't think that. So if you remember, the one thing I did like in the last one is they talked about the legends. What everyone loves is the legends. So I think she's just taking on the role of Luke so that Rebels will be like, Luke did this. He's still alive. He's still pushing, but it's really Rey. So she's pushing the legend. That's kind of how I thought it went, because I always try to go back to what did the last movie say? Okay, they talked about a legend. So, and that's what what happened with her. It's like, you're no one, but there's still the legend. That's what she believed in for the longest time. So then she's like, oh, I need to give someone something still to believe in. So that's kind of where I went with it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I could see that.
That was my thought, because I was like, I don't think just naming her, but then I'm like, okay, the whole the trilogy of trilogies is the Skywalker line.
Right.
And so that's why I was like, okay, I think it has to be, it started with Skywalker, it's going to end with Skywalker, then they can start branching out. And I think that's what my biggest problem the last one was because I was like, well, I wanted a Skywalker movie, but maybe, because remember, when Empire came out, everyone hated it. But then people were like, okay, they finally got Jedi, and they're like, oh, well, we get it. So I think that's probably what's going to happen with me. I may like it, but no, that's where I'm feeling is that, does that make sense? I think she's just taking the legend and pushing it forward.
It could be that. And I mean, it's also like you said, yes, these movies have been about the Skywalkers from the beginning, and it bugs me that, like, the thesis that kind of says is that the Skywalkers are special, which is actually one of the problems I have had with, like, the Harry Potter franchise, for instance, like, that Harry's special for just some reason, because he happened to have a mom who was nearby when he was a baby. Like, that's really what it comes right down to. So, it's the whole concept of a chosen one. I just really don't like that concept in my fiction.
Interesting.
But, and it's, it's fair to say that the Skywalker presence in The Last Jedi was Luke and Kylo Ren.
True.
Like, Kylo's story arc was the Skywalker story arc of that movie. And he's going to be in this new movie. It's entirely possible that the Rise of Skywalker is genuinely referring to Kylo. Like, the trailer did not give us enough detail for me to say with any kind of confidence that, yes, they're going to make Rey a Skywalker. So I'm not necessarily saying that I already hate this movie, even though I did literally at the beginning of this say I hate this movie and burn it all down.
It's okay.
I'll maybe walk back on that a little bit. I'm reserving judgment until I have more information. I'm just a little bit worried that they're going to walk back on actually my favorite part of The Last Jedi, which will not only ruin this new movie for me, but retroactively ruin the last one. And if they do that, I'm going to be a tad upset.
Well,
so hopefully they won't. Hopefully they're talking about Kylo, or they're talking about Luke, or maybe they're talking about Leia, even though Carrie Fisher is dead, and I kind of hope that they don't try to force her to play too big a part in this movie, but we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. It was there's some nervousness that this brought up that I did not have before.
Well, I guess it's going to be interesting. Did you have any more comments on it, Landon?
Well, Palpatine.
Yeah, the laugh.
Oh
That-
yeah.
So I was just sitting
Yeah.
there watching this on my phone. I'm like, this is cool. This is cool.
Yeah.
This is cool. Then that happened. I'm like, no, that's amazing.
I thought that was pretty good.
You thought that was
I was
amazing?
excited.
I was annoyed. I was like, wait, why? But like, why?
It may
Because
bring it full
Palpatine
circle.
is Darth Plagueis.
And he's been with the series since the beginning. The Skywalkers, if you will.
He is the ultimate Sith Lord, in my opinion.
Uh,
That's why he can
sure.
come back.
He's
been, like, if you look at it, the Jedi have found a way to somewhat come back. He's found a way to come back.
Hmm. Did they really say he died, though?
No, they never said he died.
I mean, he was thrown down the shaft. I get it, but you know what I mean?
I don't know. That's my
I
opinion
just-
on it. I think it'll be cool.
You know what? That actually did excite me when I heard that. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I guess for me, I really liked the Easter eggs. I liked
Yeah.
and so that was the Star Wars I liked, and so that's why I had a hard time with the last one, because it was like anything that you did like, like, because I guess that's what I was going in for, and so that's what happened. But that's what Caleb likes. But I guess
I was gonna say I did not go into these movies wanting fan service. Force Awakens gave me a lot of fan service, and those were honestly my least favorite parts of the movie. The Last Jedi gave me like little hints of fan service and then turned them on their head, and I loved that. And so I'm like watching this trailer and I'm like, they're bringing Palpatine back not because of any inherent strength of his character, because let's be honest, was Palpatine actually scary to you in the original trilogy? It was Darth Vader. Darth Vader was scary. And as soon as Darth Vader stopped being scary, Palpatine suddenly stopped being scary because Darth Vader picked him up and threw him over a railing. Like,
Well, I think I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. The Emperor never scared me.
Well, I agree with you there. I mean, he wasn't supposed to be the scary one, in my opinion.
Well, I think the idea was Vader didn't realize that till I think there was obviously the redemption story of Vader, but I think there was only supposed to be two Siths no matter what, right? And so since he lost his apprentice, he's going to look for another one, which Kylo Ren, I guess, throwing it out there.
Well, but then who was Snoke? Like, there were so many fan theories when The Force Awakens came out that Snoke was Plagueis. And then Snoke got cut in half in The Last Jedi, and everyone was upset about that for... I'm still trying to figure out why everyone was upset about that. That scene was
That
amazing.
Scene was amazing.
It was a good
So
scene,
good.
by all means. Yeah, it was cool, but I don't know.
So, I don't know. Like, I kind of, you know, you're looking for a villain for this third installment after Snoke gets cut in half, and sure, you kind of want somebody, but I would have felt fine with them using Kylo Ren as the main villain. Like, Kylo Ren is now trying to take over the First Order. He's trying to become the Emperor, and I'd be really interested to see him as the main villain and see what his character arc looks like. Or I'd be really interested to see that other general guy, like, infighting with Kylo Ren while Kylo slowly shifts over to the light side or something. I don't know. Like, there's a number of different ways you could handle that,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like bringing Palpatine back from the dead is... it's unexpected, and it doesn't necessarily make me happy.
I don't think he came back from the dead. I think he just became a Jedi ghost / Sith ghost.
I mean, and that could be it too. Like, maybe they're just saying, yeah, sure, Palpatine's going to show up in the same way that Yoda showed up in the last one, and the same way that Obi-Wan showed up in the originals. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I will accept that because that's just general force powers. So
That's
okay.
that's how I took it. I thought there would be that same influence because
Yeah.
to me, I think that's where Luke has to help. Because what is it? Because Luke will be with Rey, Palpatine will be with. So I'm thinking with Kylo, and then I think there's going to be some sort of shift that way. So, but
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
I don't think it's full on. He's back. I'm like, there's got to be some influence with that. And then it was kind of cool to see Han's buddy there.
Lando. See,
Yeah,
that
was nice.
That to me is fan service.
Yeah.
I don't see Palpatine.
And actually,
I don't see Palpatine as fan service. When I saw that the first part of that scene of the trailer with Chewie in the Falcon, I was like, "Oh, Poe's flying the Falcon," and then it was Lando. I'm like, "Okay, that's cool, but interesting."
See, and that's hilarious because that's the part that actually got me excited. I was like, "Okay, I will take as much Billy D. Williams in my life as I can."
I mean, I'm not complaining about it by any means.
No, I'm not either.
I'm just saying that's more fan service than Palpatine.
Oh yeah, that was straight up fan service.
I mean, because
I have zero complaints.
Yeah, because everyone since they announced this trilogy, it's like, ooh, Lando's coming back. He's got to.
Yep. And he's back.
Yep.
But that's
Finally.
cool though. I mean, so overall,
Anyways.
I think we'll just need more info, I guess. But
either way, I'm
my
excited.
thing.
I will be there opening weekend, no matter what.
Christmas Day.
Oh, it's too far away.
I mean, probably I will too. Like, I don't.
I haven't.
I'm whining about it, but I'll go.
I haven't
watch it.
missed an opening weekend of an episodic Star Wars since I've been alive.
Wow, really? That's cool.
I went to 1, 2, 3, and I've gone to 7 and 8.
That's actually kind of cool.
Now with Solo and Rogue One, those are different story. I didn't go opening weekend for those, but
I still haven't seen Solo. I need to.
Oh, it's good. It's so good.
It's fun. Loads of fun.
Now, what I'm hoping for, and I'm hoping for this because Disney's doing this with Marvel. So when the first Avengers came out, they did the first 5 or 6 movies leading up to it in sequence in theaters. And they're doing it again with Endgame.
That's a lot of
22 movies that they're showing in a row over like 2 or 3 days, and it's ridiculous. And I'm hoping that they do this with Star Wars, where they go
Episode
1, 2, 3, Rogue One. No, 1, 2, 3, Solo, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I would be all over that.
That would.
Is that the time frame?
Wow.
For Solo?
I would. That's how I
3
see
and
it.
4?
Yeah.
It has to be that way.
Yeah, it's
because Rogue One leads
totally
perfectly into Episode 4.
I'm going to be honest. So I liked Rogue One. It is not my favorite, but that last scene, I've never wanted to switch over to A New Hope.
Right?
As soon as I got to the theater, done with the theater, I'm like, we need to go home and watch A New Hope. I was like, that was so cool.
if Disney doesn't do this and do that in theaters, I'm going to be doing it myself anyways.
You need to do that for Endgame.
I want to see 4, 5, and 6 in theaters because I haven't.
That would be cool. Think they do the original or the digitally upgraded?
Well, they're going to do the digitally upgraded ones. I mean,
oh, what a bummer.
See, they don't bug me like most people get bugged by them. I don't mind it. I don't care. That's the way Lucas wanted it. That's the way it's going to be.
I'm sorry. Lucas is...
No, go for it. Go ahead.
The best thing that happened to Star Wars was George Lucas getting his hands off of it. I'm so happy that happened. George Lucas is really good at writing great stories. He's terrible at writing characters, he's terrible at writing dialogue, and he's kind of awful at directing movies. The fact that Star Wars itself turned out so good was kind of a fluke, and Episode 5 and 6 turned out so good because he had other people writing and directing those. He wrote the story and produced. And he should have done that for 1, 2, and 3 as well. They would have been much better movies if he had.
Right, but I'm just saying.
I don't necessarily like George Lucas, and I think after the fact, he ruined 4, 5, and 6, and the best versions of those movies are the fan edits that take the Blu-ray releases of the movies, combine them with the actual theatrical film releases, because some people actually managed to get their hands on the 35mm film for those movies, and cut it all back together and digitally remastered the whole thing by hand to exactly reproduce what was released in theaters. Those are available online, and anybody listening, I recommend you look them up. Fan edits for those 3 movies are fantastic. Quality is excellent, and the movies, as they were intended to be seen in theaters, are fantastic.
Interesting. I didn't know that was there.
See, I don't mind them. I don't care.
I don't mind them at all. I enjoyed the stories. Granted, okay, you guys are gonna hate me, but I actually didn't mind 1, 2, and 3.
I like 1, 2, and 3. I'll be the first to admit it.
I really didn't mind them. I could see some
I can
of the
see
things,
why people don't like them.
like metachlorians.
Yeah, that's
I got you.
Jar Jar's kind of crazy, but I don't
Wouldn't
mind
that have
Jar
been
Jar.
the best if Jar Jar's finding the final Sith in this one? Oh my gosh.
That fan theory.
Gonna be honest, that would actually be
That
amazing.
fan theory still might. Once I heard that, I
Yeah.
was like, why did that not happen?
Dude,
That would have been amazing.
that
if
when you
Lucas
showed
would
me
have
that,
pulled that off, it would have redeemed everything.
that'd have been cool.
Yeah, it would have actually.
Yeah, actually, I didn't mind him.
But I mean, those were the ones that I grew up on. It was 1, 2, and
Yeah.
3. So that's I like. They were Star Wars.
I
movies.
saw-
They were cool.
Yeah.
I saw episode 1 12 times in theaters when it came out.
Wow.
So, yeah, like I definitely was fully on board with the movies when they were coming out. But I look back on them, and to be fair, I look back on episodes 4, 5, and 6 too, and episodes 4 and 6 are really not that much better than episodes 1 and 3. Like they have their good moments. They have some really super goofy moments that you're just like, I mean, like as bad as Jar Jar is in episode 1, the Ewoks are kind of just as bad in episode 6. Like they're really not much
Yeah.
better. So, they're not necessarily masterpieces, but Empire Strikes Back is a masterpiece and Attack of the Clones is a steaming pile. And I don't care what anybody says. That's where the discrepancy lies. Episode 1 and 3 and 4 and 6, they're pretty close. Like they're not too far off from each other. But 2 and 5 could not be further apart.
I'll have to watch Clones again. But I heard that series helps redeem it. The Attack of the Clones or something, that series they did on Netflix
I've
for a while.
heard that series was really
the Clone
good.
Wars?
Like people were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you need to see that." And
I
then
haven't watched
everything
that yet
for
either.
episode 2, you're just kind of like, "I get
Yeah.
it."
Yeah, well, that takes place right after episode 2, between 2 and 3. And from what I hear, that makes Anakin actually feel like a respectable, like a character you actually like, instead of a character
That's what I heard too.
that you hate. And that's fair. I've only seen a little bit of the Clone Wars series, but I can definitely see that being the case. Like Anakin feels a lot more like a serious person than the caricature he is in episode 2. So
Are those
yeah,
still canon?
Yeah.
Those
Yes.
are? Okay. Yeah, I heard those are pretty good. I was kind of hoping. I know that. Did you ever play that Star Wars Unleashed game?
Oh, The Force Unleashed?
yeah,
no, I never did. I've heard good things.
The first one definitely. The second one was okay. They're riding this cash train, but it was actually kind of a cool. Like if this would have happened, and I was kind of hoping they'd see like
Yeah.
a cameo or something like that, but the guy's name was Starkiller, and I guess Starkiller was the bigger base in Force Awakens.
Yeah. Well, Starkiller was Luke's original last name in the first draft of the first movie.
Yep.
It wasn't going to be Skywalker. It was going to be Luke Starkiller.
Yep. There was a lot of things on that first draft that, like the Ewoks were cannibals.
Yes. Thank heavens it got rewritten.
They're not cannibals. They just eat people. But anyway. Anything more we want to talk about Star Wars in the trailer?
I'm good.
No.
We're good? Okay. We got to put that out there because, Star Wars, it's kind of a huge thing. Billions of dollars itself.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get into this. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about tech here. One thing I did want to kind of bring up for people, first thing is, apparently there was some cyber criminals that compromised some of Outlook.com accounts. The big thing on this is what we actually know of this. It said the accounts were compromised during January, February, and March in 2019. To access the customer accounts, the cyber criminals first compromised Microsoft support representative accounts. Microsoft doesn't know how this happened, but it has since disabled those accounts. You should be careful when receiving any emails from any misleading domain name, any email that requests personal information or payments, or unsolicited requests from untrusted sources. A Microsoft email to the compromised customers reads, the problem being, of course, that Microsoft support representatives should generally be trusted. The compromises only include consumer Outlook.com accounts, not commercial, so no business accounts. But it says, though email login credentials were not directly impacted by this incident, Microsoft is recommending that all impacted customers reset their email passwords as a precaution. So they don't basically came out like, we don't know, we just know it was. We don't know who, but here you go. But I know that there's a lot of people that do use Outlook.com, the actual. I know this sounds weird, but if you go and use it on the website and not like an app on your phone or the Outlook.com or the Outlook app on your PC, it's only people that use it on the .com. So, and they would have stopped.
Right.
So put out a saying, hey, this is closed because of this. And they probably would have sent it to your recovery email or a recovery saying this is what happened and why it's closed. So if you're having troubles logging into your Microsoft Outlook, this could be why. So just wanted to bring that up because obviously security information, we don't want people to lose their information. So I did want to bring that up.
Yep.
So that's what I have for that. I do have some gaming news, but I saw this and I was like, yeah, I definitely want to talk about this because obviously that's 3 months of whatever information that could have happened. And Microsoft is on this, but obviously it just sucks, but that's what we're going to have to do. So.
Yeah. It's kind of sad because this feels a little bit like a Yahoo style breach.
Yeah.
And not quite as widespread as the issues that Yahoo had. And, we're finding out about it a lot faster than we did with Yahoo.
How long did that was a long time.
It was like 6 years later. They're all like it was some third party was all like, by the way, Yahoo had this massive data breach like 6 years ago that they never told anybody about.
And then they were like, oh yeah.
By the
way, this is true.
Yeah, so I guess really I look back on it. It's not nearly as bad as the Yahoo data breach. Don't I honestly feel bad for comparing them to them.
Well, that was huge.
Outlook is not as bad as Yahoo.
Yeah, but still, any kind of breach just sucks, and you could always just talk about and be like, hey, this is what happened. Whether you got to change passwords, change stuff, but anyway.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to throw it out there that LimeWire is not as bad as Yahoo.
Oh my god. You know what was really bad about LimeWire? Like everybody, when that was big, I remember in our schools, like everybody using that. I don't know what they had line, but it was so much faster to download music and songs at school, and we would just download. And so I went to a school that my graduating class was the biggest class that school's ever seen, and it was 60. So our IT department was like 1, maybe 2 people, and he was an assistant. So try to take care of all those computers. That had to have been terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. But
yeah.
LimeWire. Nice. That was a good callback.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Brought back
lots
of memories. Anyway. All right, Landon, what do you got for us?
All right. I've got some news. Actual news. So,
what?
Yeah, weird, right?
I know. What? No.
Well, for you, yes, that's weird. Android Q Beta 2 is now out and available for anybody that's on the beta program. That is not me. Especially with this one, because from what I understand, this one's actually more buggy than the first one, which is weird.
Oh, jeez.
I think things are starting to get a little bit better, but initially, the first couple days of this beta, not great.
Yeah. We need to, dang it, I need to get you that phone. My old Pixel, so you can just start throwing stuff like this on there.
Yeah, we might have to try that just to test out some of these new things. But I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the new things people are finding in the beta 2.
Problems or
no, just
features?
Some new features.
Oh.
So I don't think this is not fully integrated, but someone found some code showing some gesture stuff that's more similar to iOS gestures.
Okay, let me ask this. And I feel really stupid asking this, but when you say gestures, what is it talking about exactly?
Like gesture navigation. So instead of the 3-button layout on the bottom like you have on your phone, there's just a home button, and then you swipe in different ways to do certain things.
Okay, I've never done that, so that's why I'm asking.
It's swiping directly on the screen, not hovering your hand over top of the screen like the new LG phones.
Hey, we're getting to that. We're getting to that.
Just to be clear.
This is not the email you're looking for. I had to.
Yes.
But okay, so I've heard us talk about this, but I've never really dug deep on what it is. And again, people, I'm from the Windows side of things. I just got an Android phone, so I don't know these things.
Well, if you'd go back to your Pixel phone, you could try out the gesture nav.
That's true. But I really like this Razer phone.
Yeah, I understand.
Anyway, but so for example, the gesture. So you're like when you're saying just the home button, which I got that, but like accessing like going back or like a browser page that you just have to do a certain gesture on the phone, that's what it will happen, or
so what these
exactly is it?
What these new gestures they're looking at is more for the multitasking side of things. So right now on Android 9 on my phone, if I swipe up, it goes to the recent apps from the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
And I can go back and forth, or I can swipe to the right on the home button and it'll go to my most recent app, or I can hold and swipe and it'll kind of go through all my apps that I just went to, and then I can go to the one that I want that way.
Now, is this also with all the launchers, or do you have to have the regular launcher? Or am I asking the right question?
This is on Pixel devices, and it's what is built into Android, but Google has let other OEMs make their own version of the gesture navigation. So like OnePlus has their own thing that's going on. Samsung has their own little version of it. LG, I think, has some tweaks. There's all different, which is problematic, obviously.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or you on some of those other devices, you obviously can still have the 3-button layout that's been there for a lot of years.
Right. Okay. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, but this new thing that people are finding, the multitasking gesture navigation, is more similar to the iOS version of gestures. No, I don't think anybody's really been able to test it yet. It's just something they found in the code on this new beta. So that could be interesting how they change the gesture navigation again. So, another feature I thought was kind of interesting and kind of cool. So if you're listening to music or a podcast or something, it has a little notification at the top, and you can from there like play, pause, or skip ahead or skip next track or previous, whatnot.
Right.
They're adding a progress bar to show where you are in the song or the podcast, and you can scroll through on that bar. So you can tap on where you're at and go back and forth in the episode or the song or whatever.
That's pretty
right
awesome.
From the navigation bar, which is
cool.
really nice. You don't have to go into the app and do it if you want to do that. It's just right there in the notification shade. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned with the original beta, when you took a screenshot on Pixel devices that had a notch, it would show the notch. That is no longer the case. Which I understand. I mean, I gave it a scenario I had the scenario where I could have benefited from it having a notch in the screenshot, but I get why they don't want there to be a notch in a screenshot because it just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Especially in a screenshot. So, there's that. One last thing that I thought was interesting and kind of I don't know what to think about. They have these things called bubbles, and they're basically, so if you've used Facebook Messenger on Android, you've seen chat heads.
They are annoying.
They're annoying, yes.
Yeah.
That's basically what this is, but system level chat heads. And so what developers can do with this is they can make it so that's kind of the new notification, I guess. And you can do things from this. It's kind of, I don't know exactly how, like all the different things, but I don't know. I'm not a fan. And there are some cases where this might be beneficial, but for the most part, constantly having something there over every app and even videos and games and whatnot, it's annoying.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
from what I also have seen, that it's opt out, not opt in, which is also annoying.
Ooh.
Hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least there's an option to get out of it,
Yeah.
but still.
That's true.
But not a fan of that. So, and one more thing I just saw. Some people are finding inside the code support for a 3D touch like pressure sensitive actions that you can do within the phone. Now, as of now, I think Samsung kind of has this sort of thing in their phones. But Google doesn't have pressure sensitivity on their phones. They do have in the software a 3D touch like thing that you can do within the apps. Like you long press on an app and it'll give you certain things you can do.
Right.
But there's no pressure sensitivity on the phone itself, like on the iPhones.
Huh.
And it's weird because like there's a lot of, if you know about these things on the apps, and same with on iPhone, if you know about what you can do with it, it can be beneficial and save you some time. The problem is, and Apple didn't do this well, in my opinion, and Google never did this well either, of showcasing what and how to do these things. Like what you can do and how you do it properly. If you go and look for it, or you know that it's there, you're going to find it and you're going to utilize it potentially. But it's one of those things that most developers didn't take advantage of, even on iOS. And like I said, neither Apple or Google did a really good job of explaining to the common user how to utilize these things.
Yeah, and Apple has been walking, like all of the functionality they've built into their OS that relies on 3D touch, they've been making ways to work around it ever since. And they are now releasing new phones that don't have 3D touch. The XR doesn't have 3D touch on it. And there's actually rumors that they're going to be dropping it from all of their phones in the next year or two. So,
and they've now made it so it's basically like how Google's is now, where it's just a long press. So, and that actually makes sense to me. It's one of those things that, yes, some apps take advantage of it and do it well, but most don't, and it's kind of hard to know which ones do and don't. You just have to try, and if it does something, good. If it doesn't, wasted a couple seconds.
Yeah, well, the only thing that I really missed about not having 3D touch is being able to scrub my cursor via 3D touch on the keyboard, the system keyboard. And they did technically make it so that you can do that by long pressing on the spacebar on the keyboard if you don't have 3D touch. The implementation works slightly better with 3D touch, but other than that, I don't miss it.
Yeah, and I don't think most people will. So, but that's some of the new features I want to talk about with this new beta of Android Q that's coming out. We should be getting another one in a couple weeks, the beginning of May, right before Google I/O, and I'm sure obviously they'll talk a whole lot of Q in that thing.
Yep.
And a lot of features that we obviously don't know about yet will be talked about there, and so it should be fun. Okay, next thing I want to talk about, YouTube TV. So I have YouTube TV, and I really enjoy it, but it is now $50 a month instead of $40. So that kind of sucks. But they're not just raising the price. They're actually giving us quite a few new channels along with that, which is beneficial. So the new channels that have come with this new price hike is Discovery Channel, HGTV, Food Network, TLC, Investigation Discovery, Animal Planet, the Travel Channel, and Motor Trend. And they've said that the Oprah Winfrey Network is coming later this year. Now, I don't know. I haven't heard if that's an additional cost, because they do have some channels that you pay extra for, and it'll just go into your channel list.
Yeah.
But they've said that OWN is going to be a new channel coming this year. So whether that's just going to be added in or at a additional fee, we don't know yet. At least I haven't seen. But I'm happy. Like I don't like that I have to pay $10 more a month, but I like the new channels that have come. I had shows that I liked on Discovery and HGTV and Food Network and travel. I liked these channels.
Yeah.
So not having those, I was kind of bummed when I switched from DirecTV to YouTube TV. I was like, I mean, I'm fine with not having them, but there are shows that I like watching.
Yeah.
Now I have those channels, so that's nice.
$50.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a little jealous that you've got Motor Trend.
Yeah.
I really like Motor Trend.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have to pay more, but at least they're giving us more channels. That doesn't always happen. A lot of times it's usually, oh, we're raising your rate just because. And you don't get any more.
Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix, Amazon. Yeah. It happens. So I'm glad they at least gave us some more channels along with this updated price. And unfortunately, a lot of times, like with YouTube Music, with Google Play Music All Access going into YouTube Music, they grandfathered people in at whatever price they were paying for a while, at least for like 3 or 6 months. They're not doing that with this. It's just $50. The next time you make a payment, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, because I think with networks and stuff, like Google has to pay them like then, so that to make the money.
Right. So if you haven't jumped on the YouTube TV train yet, I understand. It's not super cheap, but I mean, there's a lot of channels out there. I really enjoy it.
Unlimited DVR is pretty nice.
That's one of my favorite features.
Yeah.
Unlimited DVR, and I can watch it on my phone, on my iPad,
Anywhere
wherever.
that's there.
It's lovely.
And then you could I bet you can Chromecast it too, right? Just from there to
Yeah.
So
it works great. I like it a lot. Okay, moving on. Some unfortunate news one piece of this news is unfortunate. One piece of this news is kind of, why didn't this happen before? Google Plus is dead. That's one. Why didn't this happen before? Because nobody used it, which is unfortunate. I actually kind of liked Google Plus when it initially came out. It was much better than Facebook. It's just nobody used it, so I couldn't justify checking another social network for nothing. So I rarely got on there.
I think the thing that irritated me about it was Google forced me to have one.
Yes, nobody liked it. Once that happened, everyone was just like, well, if we ever thought about using this, now it's not going to happen.
Well, and then there was another thing, if I remember correctly, they were like, by the way, because you didn't create one, we're going to create it for you, and everything of your information is public until you come back and change it. And I'm like,
yeah, kind of.
That I didn't like that at all. I was like, okay.
Yeah, they didn't quite do Google Plus right. In some ways they did really well, and a lot of other ways they just really screwed it up. And that's one of them. But along with Google Plus being dead, so is Inbox. And that's what saddens me. I really liked Inbox. So if you don't know what Inbox is, it was an email client that they had.
Yeah.
It was somewhat similar to Gmail, but it had these different features in there that I really enjoyed that are slowly coming to Gmail. But I don't know. I really liked using Inbox, at least on my phone. I tried it on the web. It wasn't quite as user-friendly, at least for me. So I still use Gmail online, but I rarely checked my email in a browser. So it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But on the phone, I really liked the way Inbox worked. The way it sorted out the emails, the way the user interface was really slick and easy to use. I don't know. I really liked it. And a lot of people I know really liked it. But it's now gone. And we heard about this a few months ago. And when the news came out that they were going to be getting rid of Inbox, I was like, well, may as well just rip this Band-Aid now.
Yeah.
So I did and switched back to Gmail, and I hated life for a little while. I've gotten more used to Gmail, so I'm okay with it. And they've added a few features from Inbox to Gmail, and it's made it a little better. Still not as good as Inbox was, in my opinion,
Yeah.
but it's getting there. Hopefully they start bringing more features. Although, if you if you used Inbox until the day it died, and you are begrudgingly using Gmail, there is a new app out there called Spark, and they conveniently released the same day that Inbox died, and it does a lot of the same features that Inbox had.
That's funny.
I actually downloaded it, tried it out, but I didn't want to have to go through and reset up all that stuff. That's one thing with Inbox. There was minimal setup. It kind of did things on its own. And Spark is supposed to be able to do that same thing, but there's still a little bit of more setup there than I wanted to do. So I was like, I'm already back into Gmail. I'll just stick with it so I don't get disappointed again when Spark goes away or it becomes a paid plan. Because that's usually how those email clients become. It's free for now, and then you have to pay a monthly payment plan. And I don't want to do that.
Makes sense.
Okay, so that's all my Google news. Now I want to talk about the LG G8. They announced this phone this past week. It's not too bad of a phone. LG usually does a pretty decent job with their flagship phones. I'll just go through the specs right now. It's got a Snapdragon 855 processor, 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage with a micro SD slot, 6.1 inch 1440 by 3120 AMOLED display, a 3500 milliamp hour battery, dual rear cameras, a 12 and a 16 megapixel cameras in the back and 8 megapixel in the front. It's launching with Android 9, thank goodness. It's got LG's user experience over top of that, so that's, normal, I guess.
Yeah.
The price is ranging, depending on where you buy it, anywhere from $650 to about $800 or so at the carriers. But at carriers, nobody's paying outright for the phone, so that's how they can charge more. It's like, it's only $30 a month. Well, technically.
Yeah.
But, so, that's the specs on this phone. It is available now to I don't know if it's pre-order or if it's out to buy, out officially yet, but it's got decent reviews. LG is one of those companies that the things they do right are very good.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that are not so good. That's one reason why it's never been the most popular device to buy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've recommended LG phones to a lot of people, and they've really liked them. So, I'll still recommend the G series phones to people, depending on their situation and what they need in a phone. They're good phones, and they're not. And this one's not priced horribly compared to other flagships out there right now. It's around $200 cheaper in most cases. So you're getting flagship specs at a, previously flagship price.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this the one that has the has no earpiece speaker? It's just vibrating the top half of the screen.
This one, I believe, does, and they're the last two phones, or one of the two phones that they just announced like a month ago are the same way.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So they're sticking with that. From what I've heard, that actually makes the phone legitimately amazing if you take phone calls in crowded places on a regular basis. The idea being that you basically just rest the top of the phone against your face and it acts like a bone phone.
Yeah.
Instead of using like a normal phone. And from what I understand, if that's the kind of thing that you do, like at all, if you need to take phone calls and like you're on a subway platform or out in public on a crowded street or something like that, and you need to be able to take phone calls in those situations, then this is absolutely the phone you should buy because it is by far the best experience for that. And other than that, it's just kind of a generic, pretty good phone. And, not a bad price at $650 either. Honestly, that's a great price.
Yeah, no kidding. And like Caleb was saying, like most phones, they have that earpiece there. You kind of, if you want to get the most out of that earpiece, you got to line it up just right with your ear. And with this, you don't have to do that. You get it close enough to your ear. It just uses the glass and the display in the phone to produce the noise, and it just works. And it's great.
And
Really
from what I understand, it's best to not even try and line it up with your ear. Like, don't put it in front of your ear. Put it down a little bit. Rest it up against your cheek so that it's touching the bone in the side of your head. And that's where it's going to transfer the sound most effectively.
Yeah. Huh. Pretty cool.
That is. Kind of want to try one.
I know. I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty interesting technology. And yeah. So that's this phone. Looks pretty good. It's gotten decent reviews. Not the best. Like I said, there's some things that they do well, some things that they don't. And, that's kind of how it is with most flagships. But the things that they don't do right, they don't do right. So,
So mid-tier-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is all of the Google/Android news that I have.
That's awesome. That's not bad at all. It's good. I mean, we like to hear about new phones, definitely new technologies. We've been talking about that screen vibration thing for a little while, and it's kind of cool to see that it's finally coming out to the world. So,
yeah.
Kind of cool. All right, Caleb, what rumors you got for us?
I've got a bunch actually, but first I want to talk about April Fool's Day, which was a thing that happened. And there's always a bunch of tech companies that are, releasing a bunch of false products and stuff on April Fool's Day. It's usually pretty entertaining.
Except Microsoft.
Yeah. Microsoft were killjoys and legitimately banned it, which I thought was kind of hilarious.
Man, they could have done so good, though. Oh, well. Anyway.
Yeah. That's okay. They never would have beat this one. I'm only going to talk about one April Fool's joke because this is legitimately the best thing that happened the whole day, and I don't even care what anybody else says. So this thing is from Hyperdrive, is the name of the company. It's the ultimate hub. And what this is it's a USB-C or Thunderbolt 3, a Thunderbolt 3 peripheral that is about the same physical dimensions in terms of the surface area of the top of the device as a 15-inch MacBook Pro. So it's designed to sit underneath a 15-inch MacBook Pro and connect to one of the Thunderbolt 3 ports via a short 2-inch cable. And it gives you a total of 40 ports to add onto your MacBook Pro. So let's run through a few of these. So you get 9 USB-A and 9 USB Type-C, 2 micro SD slots and 2 full-size SD slots, an audio jack, an HDMI port, and Ethernet. You also get 2 DisplayPort, a mini DVI port, VGA port, optical Toslink, and an RJ11 modem, as well as FireWire 400, FireWire 800, 2 RCA ports, a parallel port, a serial port, a PS2 port, and an AT port. In addition to a 3.5-inch floppy drive, a 2-in-1 speaker/space heater, and an airline-safe battery. So
dope.
That went on sale on April 1st for $99.99, though that was a one-day sale price. The actual sale price for this device is $9,999.99.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly clear, it's obviously also a fake product.
Which is unfortunate. I really wish it's a real product.
Right. Oh, that'd be so cool.
I just love that they went with, they're going through all of this stuff, and then they go with 3.5-inch floppy drive, but no CD drive.
Yeah.
I did not think of that.
It was a nice detail. I really appreciated that. So that one definitely won April Fool's as far as I'm concerned. The Hyperdrive Ultimate Hub. I loved it.
Double ultimate.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
If it was real, that'd be one that's I can't not buy that.
Right? Oh, I would have ordered it that day had it been an actual thing. Okay. So I do have some rumors. I always have rumors. All right. iPhones. Should we talk about iPhone rumors? I don't usually have anything else. They're all rumored to have OLED screens this year, so no more LED screens in these things. or LCD screens, sorry. They're still going to have 3 models. Supposedly, the cheapest will now have a 5.4-inch display, and then the larger one will be the same size as the iPhone X, and then the largest will obviously be the same size as the XS Max. The idea being that the cheapest one, the 5.4-inch display, is going to be using a new form of OLED display that they can, in theory, get from either LG or Samsung. So the technology exists with both of those companies, but it is cheaper to produce and thinner than existing OLED displays. So, that's kind of the rumor. Because it's cheaper, we should be able to get OLEDs in all 3 models of iPhones this year. So, that would be cool. I'm kind of hoping that is the case, because that means that definitely by the time I'm buying a phone in 2020, I'll be able to get an OLED display no matter what. Okay. Apple is rumored to be breaking up with iTunes. Breaking up iTunes. That's so, either one of those things.
Either way, it's a good option.
So in theory, that means that the music podcasts, the music and podcast apps are going to be joining the TV app, which has already been announced is coming to macOS. And those will be paired with the Books app, which those 4 apps taken together are the replacements for iTunes on your phone. You don't have an iTunes app on your phone because you have a music app, you have a podcast app, you have a Books app, and you have a TV app. That breaks up the functionality for that we have in iTunes on the desktop into different places. And each of those apps is better than iTunes.
Yeah.
Like, full stop, that experience is so much better than trying to shove everything into iTunes and use it all in the same place. The theory is that these are going to be marzipan versions of the apps, which means that they are the iOS versions of those apps, ported using Apple's new APIs that they talked about at WWDC last year to macOS. So, okay, that makes sense. And I'm fully on board. Like, 100% please do this. And at that point, we can just get all of that stuff out of iTunes. And then the only reason that iTunes would need to exist at that point is for people that manage very large physical libraries of music, but they don't have like an Apple Music subscription or an iTunes Match subscription. Or people that really need to make backups of their iOS devices or sync music to iPods still, I guess. But that I don't do that. So
we still do. Whenever my wife gets a new phone, we always back hers up onto iTunes. That's been the easiest route for us to use.
Gotcha.
Because we don't pay for iCloud storage. I'm not going to pay for iCloud storage.
Yeah, I've gotten to the point, and this is actually like with my most recent experience of setting up an iPhone. When I got my XR, I just set it up from scratch. I normally am the type that I will back the thing up and then I will, restore from backup, because I hate signing into apps over and over and over again. Like, that's super obnoxious. But with changes made to the last version of iOS, the keychain functionality that exists in iOS is so much more integrated than it used to be, which actually means that I didn't have to sign in to the vast majority of my apps at all. It had passwords saved from them in the cloud, and I just downloaded all of the apps, and then every time, like, I opened it the first time, and it basically is just like, hey, do you want to use this saved password for this app? And I hit yes, it does a verification of Face ID, signs me in, I'm done. And that's legitimately the only reason that I ever did the backup thing, was just so that I wouldn't have to do that. Because everything else, all of my documents, all of my music, all of my pictures, everything, that's all backed up in the cloud somewhere.
Yeah.
So I didn't need to transfer that data. So that was actually super easy, and I'm probably never going to back my phone up again, like, ever.
Right.
So the times, they are a-changing, and iTunes is getting killed, and yay!
That's one of those services
So
we're
about
okay at dying.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
It's just.
I mean, as long as
Go ahead.
as long as you replace it with other things.
Well, right.
Right.
But iTunes itself,
which they should be,
is a
yes,
steaming pile of,
It's just so old. It's just so old. Ugh.
And the updates for it don't make it any better.
No.
Especially for Windows
No.
users.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the worst. Though, honestly, you guys are probably just going to have to suffer along for quite a while
Yeah,
longer.
whoever's doing
But
that.
I do actually have some good news that might be helpful for Windows users that use iTunes. For my own part, there are websites that allow you to actually do all of, like, if you have an Apple Music subscription and an iTunes cloud like music library, there are websites that will allow you to listen to that in the browser, so you never have to actually download iTunes onto a Windows computer. That's great. This also, like, there's a new change, and this is actual news. This happened this past week. Apple's podcasts website that was basically, before, it was just like the iTunes interface for podcasts that allowed you to search podcasts and look at them and view the latest
And it was
episodes and stuff
awful.
like that, but wouldn't let you do anything with them. You could just look at it. It was retarded. You can actually listen to the podcast
Yep.
now via that website.
Yep.
Like, dad freaking dumb.
And I believe
So,
the
yet-
interface is a lot better too.
Yes.
Because I
So-
would use that, with what I do with podcasts and stuff. I would go there and check certain things with different podcasts, and it is awful. It is awful.
It's old. It's
it
archaic
felt
and
like
bad.
I was in iTunes in the 2000s.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yep,
So now
that's
that it's
exactly it.
actually functional and worth looking at, it's lovely.
So between that and those websites that allow you to do Apple Music and stuff in your browser, Windows users are having less and less reason to actually download iTunes, and I think that's lovely.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
more of that, please.
Yeah.
Which actually, if the TV app comes to Windows, then you're done. Like, you don't need iTunes anymore.
Honestly, I would be surprised if it doesn't. With everywhere
Right, it's
else
coming
that they're
everywhere
putting
else.
it, I'd be shocked if they don't bring it to Windows eventually.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep, me too. So yes, in addition to actual news associated with Apple, I guess there are a few things. Apple Music may have actually overtaken Spotify in terms of the paid user subscriber base.
Wow.
The most recent numbers that were reported for Spotify was about 40 million, 45 million or something like that. And reportedly, Apple just passed 50 million paid subscribers to Apple Music. So it's a bunch of money. Their services are doing quite well.
Yeah.
And for anybody who is a new subscriber to Apple Music who is really interested in devices that work great with Apple Music and do absolutely jack diddly otherwise, the HomePod, the price has dropped $50 on that. It's now down to $300 versus the $350 it was before. That's a little more tempting for me, actually. I might go for one of those.
I did drop Spotify the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I talked to you about this earlier. I had Spotify, and I was using YouTube Premium's free trial, just trying it out. I didn't realize if you have YouTube Premium that you get music with it.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I log into, I guess the app, Music Go, or sorry, but whatever it's called. But it's like, oh, you have a subscription to YouTube Music. You can just use the app and use the music in here. And I was like, interesting. And it's cost me the same price to have a family plan on Spotify as to have YouTube Premium. And I'm like, no commercials on YouTube, and I get music, or just have music.
Yeah.
Well, looks like Google wins this round.
Yeah.
So, yep. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I don't have anything against Spotify.
Right.
But, yeah, I thought that's interesting. But I don't know much of convenience or anything with Apple, but obviously that's what they go for on their platform, is the convenience. So,
Right.
Yeah. Well, the convenience of the integration, and also just the vast size of the available library.
yeah.
Which, from what I understand, absolutely dwarfs everybody else. Like, there's so much music on Apple Music.
See, from what I've heard is
Mind-blowing.
Spotify isn't necessarily smaller, it's just different. Their catalog of music. That's from people. That's from like iMore people. They're saying that, and
I've actually found more.
But I don't know. I don't use either of them, so it doesn't matter to me.
I found more. I guess the way I can relate it. So, like, if I type in a band, so I kind of listen to like Newfound Glory, if you will. When I had Spotify, I type in Newfound Glory. I would get their main albums and then one or two random EPs or whatever. Right. But with YouTube, it seemed like I got thousands more. Like, I'd get the singles, then I'd get the 4-song EPs and this. So I just don't know what else Apple would offer on top of that.
Well, and so that's what my understanding, the main difference between Apple Music and Spotify is that Spotify has the most popular music for pretty much everybody, whereas Apple has all of the music from pretty much everybody. It's kind of the difference of, like, you know, I'm going to go to like Evanescence, for instance. I happen to be pretty familiar with the way that Apple Music versus Spotify handles that particular band for various reasons. but if you go looking for Evanescence on Spotify, you get all of their studio albums and I think like one of their greatest hits compilations. But they try to avoid duplicates, if that makes sense. There are not duplicated songs pretty much anywhere. Because I mean, what's the point, you know? Versus Apple Music, which gives me all of their studio albums, plus a couple of different greatest hits compilations, plus some like just re-recordings of older songs that are like virtually identical, plus like acoustic re-recordings and compilations that were done with other bands and all kinds of just like additional stuff, which, to be fair, for most people is garbage. Like, they're going to get in there and they're going to be like, holy crap, this is all just like a whole bunch of repeats. But for somebody who's very interested in the band, I actually really appreciate being able to go, okay, this recording is slightly different than this recording. I like this version better. And, you know, like just having the choices, I really like that.
I enjoyed that too. That is one thing I did find with YouTube as well. Like I said, some stuff that I didn't even know Newfound did. I was like, what? Why don't I know this? So, that's interesting.
So, it kind of goes both ways. And I think that the way Spotify handles their library is probably better in terms of money management. It's probably cheaper for them. And, you know, considering how many of their subscribers are on their free plan, that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's probably just fine for the vast majority of listeners. Like, I don't think anybody else really cares all that much. But for instance, you know, like, if I go search for Dmitry Shostakovich on Apple Music versus Spotify, on Spotify I get almost nothing. But I do have representative recordings of pretty much every one of his major symphonies. Whereas in Apple Music, I have a dozen recordings of every single one of his major symphonies from like 30 different ensembles across several decades of time. And I get to pick which one is my favorite. Granted, Apple Music is actually kind of terrible at searching and organizing classical music, and they really, really need to do better at that. But, you know, that's kind of the idea. Apple just has so much stuff, and it's not necessarily like better quality than Spotify, but there is definitely something to be said for just having quantity in this circumstance.
Yep.
So, anyways, rumors. I'm back to rumors. I ran out of news. Dang it. So, Ming-Chi Kuo has released an updated estimate of what's going on with Apple's product line over the next year. And I've mentioned previously that he had said that Apple was going to be redesigning the 15-inch MacBook Pro into a 16-inch MacBook Pro in 2019. He is now saying that redesign is going to happen in 2021.
Oh, man.
So I guess he's allowed to change his mind, but that's annoying. Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah.
His report just basically reiterated a bunch of other rumors that we've already talked about, but that particular one, he's all like, yeah, this thing I said is going to happen this year, still going to happen, but 2 years from now. Psych. Jerk. Okay. So that is my last Apple rumor. I don't have any more Apple news, but I do have one piece of general tech news. In a surprise to absolutely nobody, Amazon listens to your Alexa queries.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yep.
they're basically listening. They transcribe them and then feed them back into the software to help the machine learning algorithms that Alexa uses to understand you improve. So, they're doing it to improve the software, but yeah, Amazon employees listening to the stuff you say to your Alexa devices. So
Yeah,
cool.
That's fun.
I'm not surprised at this point.
And people were all upset at Microsoft for a Kinect on their Xbox.
Yeah.
Hello, thing that's always listening.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It was a different time, but I look at this and I'm like, you guys.
Well, it's just really funny to me because they were upset at Microsoft for putting the hardware in place that would allow them to do what Amazon is doing.
Yes.
And Microsoft is like, we're not going to do this, but people still got upset. And then Amazon starts doing that exact same thing with the exact same type of hardware. And people are all like, oh, shock. And I'm
They're
like,
not shocked. They're like,
really?
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yes, so that is all of my tech news. I just wanted to make sure
that's out there.
Got out there because Amazon is Amazon.
Before we move on, I want to give some impressions that I've had with some Apple products recently.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
So, past week, we bought my wife some AirPods. We did not buy the second generation. We bought the first generation because they were a little bit cheaper at Best Buy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they had any of the second generation in stock.
Yeah, probably not.
But I'm in love with those headphones. Even on my Android device, they work quite well. Granted, like it's not as seamless, obviously. They don't just automatically pair. You have to do the whole go through Bluetooth crap that's always been a pain in the butt.
Yep.
To pair them, but they work. And I haven't tested this out yet, but on iOS, if you have them, you can change what the double tap does, depending on what you want it to do. I've been told that if you change it on iOS, it will be the same as what it was previously on your Android. I don't know if you can change it within Android, but if you change it on iOS, it'll be the same. As far as I understand, I haven't tested that yet. But I like that idea, and they sound better than I was expecting. I was expecting similar to the EarPods that are just awful and don't stay in your ear very well, and I've never been a fan of. Yeah. These actually had a decent amount of bass. I didn't have any issues with them coming out of my ears. Like, I could shake my head around and they would be fine. And yeah, I've been my wife she absolutely loves them. She's like game changer by far.
Yeah.
I've heard really good things.
Yeah.
So I mean, I will say yes, I am not a fan of the price because I think you can get better wireless headphones for the same price, like sound quality wise, but the ease of use especially with iOS devices, it kind of justifies the price. It's still, again, I think it's a little expensive, but it helps ease it a little bit because they're just so easy to use.
Yeah.
And switching between device, like from the iPad to the iPhone, all you really have to do is just hold them, like open it up, hold it about 2 inches from whichever device you want to use, and it automatically just picks it up on that device. Now, if you're just using one device, you do that one time to initially set it up, and then you just open it and it just connects. You can leave the phone in your pocket, you open it up by your face, it works. But if you want to switch back and forth, you kind of have to do the whole, it's kind of like repairing it, but it's literally just opening it up, holding it about 2 inches away, and you're good. It takes about 1 to 2 seconds for it to recognize that it's by this device and not the one it was previously connected to. And then it just works.
That's pretty
cool. And
I
even tested it where I had my wife's iPhone on the counter and I had the iPad about 2 feet away, and I would go back and forth. I would leave the case open and I'd go back and forth, and it would just switch and switch and switch and switch. And it just worked. It was pretty cool.
That's cool.
I was very impressed.
Yeah.
Now, a piece of Apple technology that I was not impressed with at all when I went to buy these AirPods. So we bought them at Best Buy, and I got looking around, and I noticed all the MacBooks they had around there. And I thought, I haven't tried out one of these new keyboards yet. And I just looked at one, and I immediately was like, nope, not going to like it. And I went and touched it, and like, this is not fun at all. I don't like this. And then I tried typing on it, and yeah, not a fan. Sorry, Caleb. I know you are okay with it. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm fine. I type faster on them than I do on the old ones.
I absolutely
I mean, to be
love their past, like the keyboard that I had on my MacBook, and the keyboard. Like if you buy a Magic keyboard or those keyboards, I love those keyboards. Love them.
Yeah,
they are great. They have just enough travel. There's not a ton of travel. Not like a mechanical keyboard by any means, but they have just enough travel, and the keys feel nice. I love those keyboards, but I did not like the new MacBook keyboard at all. Not a fan.
Yeah.
Granted, that was like
the butterfly,
a good 15 seconds of use is all. I'm sure I could get maybe I don't know. I don't even know if I could get used to it. It was ugh.
My biggest problem with the butterfly key switch is the longevity of the thing. The fact of the matter is it just breaks way too easily.
They definitely need to fix that.
That's not okay. Like, that needs to be fixed. And, if that means going back to a slightly thicker laptop and putting the old keyboards in it, that's fine. They were good keyboards. I don't have any complaints about that. But I'm a little more concerned that what they're going to do instead is replace it with their patented sheet of glass keyboard. That there is a patent for that thing. And honestly, I'm kind of excited for that keyboard. Like, frankly, I think I would type really dang fast on that keyboard.
Yeah.
I know that the vast majority of people who use Apple devices would hate that, but I'm kind of on board, actually. I'll give it a try. We'll see.
See, if that were the case, and I were to buy one, I would also just buy a regular, like one of the Magic keyboards and use that as my keyboard and use whatever they have as their glass that's sitting there. Because with it being Apple and how they've used the touch bar on the MacBooks, it's going to have more functionality than just a keyboard, I would imagine.
Yeah,
so I would use it for the extra functionality and have a regular keyboard along with it.
Well, I mean, all of the Apple keyboards that I own are the older style.
Yeah.
I don't have any of the butterfly keyboards. I have typed on them. That is the fastest I have ever typed. After sitting for about 15 minutes with one of those things, I hit my record score for words per minute on one of those keyboards. And, so it works for me. But I get that it doesn't work for a lot of people. And frankly, the longevity of those keyboards is just abysmal. That's not okay. But on the flip side, the AirPods are definitely Apple's most beloved and well-received product since, probably the iPhone.
They are great.
They're legitimately pretty amazing. Yeah. And honestly, every time I think about them, I'm like, I have this moment where I'm like, I could get a pair of those things, and I could, I put them in my ears. I'd never have to take them out.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
Yeah, because, I mean,
if my TV is powered by an Apple TV. I go from my TV to my iPad, to my Mac Mini, to my laptop, to my Mac at work, to my laptop at work, which is also a Mac, to my phone. All of these things are Apple devices. That's where I consume all of my media from, is on those devices. My AirPods would just randomly switch to whichever one I was using. And I would never have to take them out of my ears, and I would never have to use another speaker again in my life. And that kind of makes me sad because I like speakers.
And at the same time, if there's if you pause whatever is there, you can still hear with it in your ear pretty well.
Yeah.
It's not obviously as clear as if there's nothing there, but it's pretty good.
That's cool.
That's the other thing I love about the AirPods. You take it out of your ear, it automatically pauses whatever you're listening to or watching. You put it back in, it starts playing.
That is awesome.
At least on an iOS device. Not on an Android, obviously.
Yeah.
But that is a really cool feature.
Yeah. I know if I were to buy them, I would love them. And it just smells like the first breath of never actually setting up my 7.1 surround sound system. And I don't I don't want to travel that path because, gosh dang it, I have the dang thing.
Yeah.
I have the whole system, all of the speakers and the woofer and everything. It's ready to go. I just need to get it set up. But if I'm just using AirPods every time I turn on my TV, I will never actually set the thing up. So yeah, I'm waiting until at least I do that, and then maybe I'll buy a pair.
That's awesome. Anything else?
So
No?
Nope.
All right. Shall we move on to some gaming? Landon,
yes.
do you have anything for gaming?
No.
No?
No, I don't.
Oh, finally.
Weird, right?
About time. Well, this episode's going to be short. Well, I'll go ahead and start us off. Got some cool gaming news for the PC. Windows 10's Game Bar is now going to have Spotify and chat integration with it, which I think is going to be pretty cool. So basically, you'll be able to easily control playback while you are playing a game with the Game Bar by pressing the Windows G shortcut. Even if you have the Spotify app installed on your device, you will be able to sign into Spotify separately, and it appears regularly like on a widget on the Game Bar and everything. But you can also, they're going to do introduce a new Xbox social widget that allows you to see friends when they're on playing, who's online, and with the widget you can easily chat with your friends, watch their Mixer streams, and voice chat with them right from the Game Bar, which is really cool, I think, because those of you that don't have two screens, that would have to Alt-Tab out to go and bring up the Windows X or the Xbox app just to join a party or to do something, that's kind of annoying. It'd be nice for you to just bring up the Game Bar, boop, oh yeah, just go ahead and get into that party or chat. Makes it really nice. So, those PC people, Caleb.
I have two screens, man.
I know. But still, even having the two screens, you know, if you don't have it in windowed mode, for some reason you have it in full screen, you're able to just bring it up, boop, done.
Which actually would be a boon for games purchased from the Windows store. Like the vast majority of like Steam games and GOG games that I own and stuff like that, they give me an option for a windowed or borderless windowed mode.
Yeah.
That, you know, lets me move my cursor in and out of the app with no problems. But there are some of the games in the Windows store that just for some reason don't let me do that.
That is weird.
And that what's really obnoxious about that is that there's some games that won't let me, and then there's other games like Age of Empires Definitive Edition where I really wouldn't mind if it captured my mouse cursor because, gosh dang it, you know, moving my mouse to the side of the screen is how I move the map in that game. But it doesn't. And so I'm constantly swiping my mouse over onto my secondary monitor like, dang it, stop. Anyways,
no.
It's inconsistent. That's weird. But anyways, yes, if you just have one monitor in particular, that would be a huge benefit.
So, yay, more stuff for that Game Bar that's on Windows 10. All right, next thing, let's go ahead and let's talk about the new titles coming to Xbox Game Pass. One of the big ones I thought was interesting was actually the new Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
That one's coming to Game Pass, and I thought it was pretty, so Monster Hunter has been around for a long time, but the newest iteration of this, Monster Hunter World, a lot of people really like. It's a very niche game, and it's coming to Xbox Game Pass.
And to be fair, actually, it is a very niche game. It's a JRPG, action RPG kind of cross. But from what I understand, Monster Hunter World is kind of the first entry in the franchise that is basically, I don't know, neutered to appeal to Western audiences.
Yeah, that too.
A little bit more. So it's going to be better for folks here in the US in particular to play versus previous entries in the franchise.
This is true. Okay. Next one. Resident Evil 5. Now, I'm not big into the Resident Evils. I don't know I know it was either 5 or 6 people hated. You remember?
It's one of those two. I think it might have been 5. I think 5 was the one where instead of making a survival horror type game, they made like a first-person shooter or a third-person shooter, and it was like did not fit in with any of the other games, and everyone was like, "What the heck is this?" I think that might have been 5, but it might have been 6 too. Like you said, it was one of those two, and I can't remember which one.
Well, those that like the Resident Evil, never played. Here you go. Here's another entry. Next one, The Walking Dead: A New Frontier. This is one of those Telltale games?
Yeah, Telltale. But was the New Frontier the Telltale one, or is New Frontier the one that's basically Left 4 Dead 2 except with The Walking Dead?
I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to double check. I thought all the Walking Deads were the Telltale, so that I don't pay attention. I don't watch the show. I don't pay attention.
Well, yeah, right. But no, there was a game that was coming out that was basically just Left 4 Dead 2, like that style of game, except set in the Walking Dead universe, and that was coming out sometime this year, and it's by the same people that made Vermintide, I'm pretty sure. So, like they know what they're doing
very
in
possible.
Regards to that style of gameplay.
I will double check on that.
But yeah, I can't remember if that was the one or not.
All right, the next one, Life is Strange 2, Episode 2. So if you like the Life is Strange, I know that's kind of a niche for lots of people. Episode 2 is coming to Xbox Game Pass. Prey, the first one, is Xbox Game Pass.
Oh.
And then the Golf Club 2 is just some random sports game, so that's on there too. But no, yeah, Prey's going to be on Xbox Game Pass. And speaking of Game Pass, Microsoft, there was a little leak of the new SKU for Game Pass. They're calling it the Ultimate Game Pass, which basically what it's going to do is it's going to take Xbox Live Gold and Game Pass and put them together into one SKU. Now, they haven't given us all the numbers, but the numbers that were leaked were Microsoft's the Game Pass is $10 a month, and the Gold is $10 a month if you pay by monthly, or pay monthly. And what they're doing with the monthly thing is they're going to put them together, and it's $15 a month. So they're going to take $10 off a month. Now, they haven't released if you pay for a year of this, then it's going to be less a month, obviously, because that's what I know. I know Game Pass doesn't do that, but when you get Xbox Live Gold, it's like $10 a month if you pay monthly, but if you pay for a year subscription, it's like $50 a month. So I don't know exactly how they're going to do that, but they also haven't really mentioned if the other SKUs are going away, and I'm really hoping not, because yes, they're trying to include PC, but I think the big benefit for having PC players on this is if they don't have to pay for gold.
Yes. It's lovely.
And so
it's lovely.
But a lot more of this. Obviously, E3's coming. This is where Microsoft's just going to pull all this out. So they'll talk more about this. But I did want to mention that from before, we have mentioned that they're thinking of combining them. And yes, this leak kind of confirms that. So the next thing is Microsoft is doing a spring sale. They usually try to do this. And I'm sure Steam will have their spring sale next week or a week after, and then everyone has their sales. So I did want to make it aware that if you've been holding out on a certain game, you can get some pretty decent games up to like 65% off. So meaning like The Division 2 that just released, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Red Dead Redemption 2, FIFA 19, NBA 2K19. A lot of these were up to 65% off.
Wow.
Yes. And there's lots of games. I mean, there's like 95 Xbox games. So there's a lot. A lot of them also, if you are bundled together, certain games. So like the whole Batman franchise. So like the old Arkham games plus the new ones, they've bundled them together like for, whatever. I know Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel is what they called it. Normally $60. Yeah. That's like $15 right now.
Dang.
And it's got the 4K upgrade, all that stuff is on there.
Right, yeah.
I mean, they've got some legit games that are pretty dirt cheap right now that it wouldn't be bad to just browse.
Yeah,
also,
for sure.
They're doing 3 months of Xbox Game Pass for just $1. So this deal obviously is for people that don't have it. They're trying to get people into it. So 3 months of Game Pass, you can pay for $1. The rest of the time, it's $10 a month. Obviously, they've got their consoles and accessories. The big one, let's see on here, it says, so this is actually kind of funny. Nobody's buying the Xbox One X Fallout 76 Xboxes. So what they're doing with them is they're taking $100 off of those and then giving digital codes for Apex Legends Founder Packs or a free game of Gears of War 4 with it.
Oh,
Which shows that they can't sell these things. Poor
they just
No.
cannot
Bethesda.
move Fallout.
It's like, we're gonna give you
That-
the console, the game, $100
Yep.
off, and 3 other games.
Please take this.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you heard of Metal Gear Survive?
Have
you even heard of it?
I've heard.
Yeah, so that was the one that was Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, came out years ago, like 2015 or something like that. Massively popular game for the Metal Gear fans. It's a Hideo Kojima game, which means that it's insane and massive, but also very, very well produced and hugely popular. And right after that game came out, Kojima had a falling out with Capcom, who are the publishers of the game and who own the IP, and he left. He split ways with Capcom and he left. And Capcom had just barely finished developing this excellent game engine for Metal Gear Solid 5. And so they're like, well, we own the Metal Gear IP. We have this amazing game engine. Let's develop another game in this. But obviously, Kojima's game studio was not involved in the process at all. And what you got out of that was Metal Gear Survive, which is basically like a really crappy Metal Gear version of Ark Survival Evolved or something like that.
Yeah.
The survival games that were popular back in 2015, but the game came out in 2017 after those things stopped being popular. That's what Fallout 76 is.
Yeah.
Is a crappy Fallout themed version of Ark Survival Evolved that came 4 years after games like that stopped being popular. And I feel really bad for them because I'm sure that a lot of developers put a lot of time and effort into making a good game that just never had a chance of selling.
Yep. Yeah. So,
Pretty bad.
but they are 1 terabyte Xbox One X consoles.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
it's a good console, and now you can get it for cheap and get some other goodies on the side. So, like, why the heck
there you
not?
go. Also, they also have PC games. A couple of them that are like 50% off. So you got like the Forza Motorsport 7, Forza Horizon 3 bundle, Sea of Thieves, Age of Empires Definitive Edition, Crackdown 3, and a couple others that's on there. So kind of their main PC games that are successful they'll have on there for sale.
Yeah.
And then, of course, their movies and apps. You got TV shows and movies like Bumblebee and Wreck-It Ralph. They're up to like 40% off. There's new deals on new releases. I saw a few like on the new Venom movie, Wonder Woman. Obviously, the superhero movies will be on there. But there's also apps that are on sale. So, for example, like the Dolby Access. So that's like a one-time paid, and you get like the Dolby Atmos, everything that's on sale. There's one that's called Karaoke One. I don't know what that is. I haven't looked, but I'll have to see. And also, they said that top apps also for Vudu are on sale. Does Vudu have a subscription?
I don't know.
Maybe they do.
I don't know, because that's
don't
one of
know.
the things it says on here, and I always thought it was just like a Walmart.
You can buy movies from Vudu,
Maybe
Yeah.
within there's a sale or something.
but I don't know about a subscription model.
I just don't know, because they said it's in here is on sale with the app like Vudu, Dolby Access, and Karaoke One. So
Interesting.
I'll have to check it out. But those are all on sale, which these spring sales are pretty good. So if you missed anything like last year, like obviously Red Dead Redemption 2, if you've missed that, good price now. A lot of these games that came out on Christmas that you haven't got now, these are pretty good deals for them. So I did want to mention those. And obviously, if you're on other platforms like Steam, they'll have theirs here soon. They always have really good deals. I'm sure GOG has some deals.
GOG is actually wrapping up their spring sale like right now. Most of their deals have focused around like older RPGs, which is, I mean, if we're honest, that's kind of the lion's share of the stuff that is available via GOG. But if you're into classic RPGs, all the good ones are there.
Yeah.
Especially now that Diablo is there, for crying out loud. Like,
right.
I don't know what else you want.
Is it bad
It's
that
all
I'm
there.
more excited for Warcraft 2?
No, I'm stoked for Warcraft. It's on my wish
Just-
list. It's not on sale.
Just hearing that
Dang it.
music, though. What was it the other day? I heard it. Just was playing some of the old music, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember this mission. Oh, it was crazy. I played a lot of it back in the day. Anywho, but
Classic.
that's pretty much all the news that I have for gaming. Well, actually, I do have one more I did want to mention. I hopped on Minecraft recently, and they have changed a lot with the new update. Just meaning like the way things look, like icons, doors, certain texture things on there. They look pretty
I
different.
noticed that. I got on sometime this past week, and yeah, I noticed there's like
Yeah.
cobblestone's different.
Yep.
Yeah, doors are different. There's just little tweaks, nothing major, but it's enough that you notice it.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is interesting, and just the way certain tools may look or what happens. But yeah, so just so you know, that's on there. So anyway, that's all the news I have there. Caleb, what you got?
All right, just a couple of pieces I wanted to mention really quick. We have not done like an indie game or mobile game spotlight of the week for
It's been a while.
It's been a while. So I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna spotlight a mobile game for this week. It came out last week. It's called RIP, or Rest in Pieces is the name of the game. It's available on iOS. It is technically a free-to-play game, which does mean in-app purchases. But one of the in-app purchases is like $3 that gives you infinite lives and removes all of the ads from the game. Which
Sold.
At that point, right. Which at that point does mean that the only thing you still need to get is gems. There's an in-game currency of gems that if you're just kind of playing the game and completing the game, then the gems just kind of stack up as you play. You don't really need to spend any extra money to buy them. You just need to play for a little while. And, it's an endless runner, and it kind of encourages you to play more and more to unlock more and more stuff, sort of along the lines of like Alto's Odyssey. So, not a bad thing. You make that purchase like $3 and you're pretty well set. It's a horror themed endless runner kind of, and it's not really an endless runner. That you're basically like navigating. You are controlling a porcelain figurine that is suspended from a string from the top of the screen, and you tap on one side of the screen or the other to cause it to swing back and forth to avoid obstacles while you are charging through this kind of horrifying hellscape toward a demon in the distance. And you're trying to basically wake up the person who is represented by this porcelain figurine by just progressing through the levels. And the music, the sound design, the visual design, the gameplay mechanics, it's all very good, super creepy, great atmosphere to this game. And honestly, since it is free to play, like anybody who's got an iOS device, you ought to go check it out just to see if it's your cup of tea, because I was not expecting to like it as much as I do, but I have paid the money for the infinite lives and whatnot so that I can keep going, because it's great. So that's Rest in Pieces, available on iOS devices.
Interesting.
So I wanted to just say one more thing, one more piece of news from the gaming world. This is a quote from Valve. They have said that they're going back to the drawing board on Artifact, which is their Hearthstone-style card game based on the characters of Dota 2. Because, quote, it represents the largest discrepancy between our expectations for how one of our games would be received and the actual outcome, close quote. And the only thing I can think to say in response to that is, it's because it doesn't have the number 3 in the title. You people are morons. If you honestly thought that this game was going to sell well, you're absolutely anyways, it's Valve.
Yep. Valve
doing Valve things. So, anyways, had to get that off my chest. I've just been angry at Valve, and they're it made me happy to see them failing in something, like as terrible as that is.
Well, they are failing. They haven't come out with 3 yet, so.
Oh. Anyways, that's all the gaming stuff that I have.
Well, obviously, a couple more months, we'll have a lot of gaming on all fronts.
Yes.
And way more, obviously. E3 is going to be Microsoft show. Probably the biggest one there, because EA's not there anymore. Sony's not there. And I can't remember who else pulled out. Another big one pulled out, but obviously they'll have their own stuff. But it's going to happen. And Google I.O.'s happening with all their stuff coming, and so much cool stuff. and more stuff. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening to us. We appreciate it. We appreciate all the comments and the likes and the feedbacks on all of our things, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on our website, or just laughing out loud or telling us when you see us. We appreciate it. And if you want to support us, like we said earlier in the pod or before the podcast, we do have a Patreon, which is at patreon.com/callingoutplatforms. Yeah, nailed that first. Bam. First try. You don't need to edit that out. And don't edit this part out for me bragging. Just kidding. But
I should.
Yeah. But anyway, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.